you make your school selection for kindergarten to go to Wilson Foundation Academy.
Okay.
And they're tracking that through such that you would then be in the Foundation Academy's 6th grade, 7th grade, move across to the high school, still in the IB program. And they're hoping to, by starting early with that, have the majority of those children actually in the early college program by the time that they're hitting, because of the fact that they can, have traced the entire academic progress the whole way through.
Yeah. Now, what is this IB thing?
IB, International Baccalaureate program.
Okay.
It's actually one of the things that was reviewed and dissected for the Common Core standards. It centers around a basic academic minimum standard, but it also has a basic behavioral standard that also coincides with it. With a set of core values, really basic societal values in a lot of ways.
Mm-hmm.
But the idea with the Wilson Foundation is that you set up an IB elementary school, an IB middle school, and an IB high school, and you can trace that performance the whole way through, and track that academic success, and make sure that by the time you get to the middle school, you're coming in ready for success.
Way back in the 40s in New York City, there's a college, very excellent college, Hunter College. I don't know if you've heard of it, in New York. They had an elementary school there, and I believe it went up to 8th grade. I'm not sure, but it sounds very much like this. And it had the most modern, at that time, liberal education. Now, my cousins went there, and I remember my father mentioning something that, well, the kids, they jump around, they jump on desks, it's all chaos over there. But this was the John Dewey, or at least misinterpreted John Dewey kind of educational philosophy. And so I'm wondering if it's a repeat cycle in a sense.
The program was actually, the IB program was actually designed, I believe it was U.S. military, but I don't remember whether it was military or diplomatic corps, to provide a way for you to move. So I'm stationed in Germany, and I've got my family with me.
Oh, okay.
I'm now stationed in Brazil. I can't have my child who's a 5th grader, when I move in January in the middle of a school year from one post to another, be on an entirely different curriculum and an entirely different standard.
Oh, wow.
So what it was it was this thing set up to be a standard that is a standard where you can walk into, like Irondequoit has an IB school. If you transfer in the middle of the day on week 15 from one to the other, you might not be on the same lesson, but you'll be on the same level of instruction.
Oh, that's...
Yeah, wow.
And so what happened with Wilson High School is they were looking for a way to certify their students, partly because of the fact that the Regents exam got watered down. It used to be, when I graduated from Wilson, our top 5 got full ride to Brown, Cornell, Harvard handed to them on academic success just because of the fact that they were in the top 5 coming out of Wilson.
Wow.
They were looking for a way to bring that back, that prestige back, so they chose the IB program. And then they said, okay, well, the students hitting us aren't ready for that. Let's open a middle school. And then they said, well, the students hitting us aren't ready for that. Let's open an elementary school. To, you know, like I said, to try to bring that standard the whole way through.
Now, the IB program is at 200 Genesee Street?
And over at the high school. It's straight through.
K-12.
So the high school component is over at the high school?
And then the early college moves back to 200 Genesee Street, if I remember correctly.
Early
Yeah.
college.
Yeah.
If you push it is the wrong word, but if you actually trace appropriately through on the IB program,
Yeah.
the reason why people hitting the high school level weren't up to the standard, this senior level work traces across approximately sophomore level at like U of R or RIT, or it's you walk out 12th grade essentially 2 years into college in education level.
Yeah, and you can actually get transferable college credits at that point, like the advanced placement exams and the advanced
Yes.
placement courses
Yeah.
that they have
Yeah.
elsewhere in the district.
Wow. Gee.
And that's now they open the Rochester Early College High School for that kind of thing. The
Yep.
kids are they're essentially getting dual credit with MCC. So that all the instructors there are dual certified by MCC and the district.
And this is at
This is over at Genesee
200,
Street.
Yeah.
200
200
Genesee.
Yeah,
It goes back to
Yeah.
that building
Yep.
where
Yeah,
the
the third
elementary
floor.
school is.
Right, the third floor.
Yeah.
And
Wow.
now almost like an associate, actually, out of high school.
Yeah. That's
nice.
fantastic.
Yeah,
It's a nice program.
It's a fantastic program.
Yeah.
And like I said, it has that one advantage as far as the fill of students, and the fact that you can't get into it by accident, which means that you guarantee a certain level of parent involvement because of the fact that you
I guess. Yes.
you can't get into it by accident. Like I said, Wilson had an issue with recruitment for the elementary because nobody thinks of Wilson Elementary at this
Right.
point. There's not enough word about it.
Yeah.
Hopefully, this fixes that.
What's the Wilson High School itself? I was at one of the coffee and conversations. I don't think you were at that one, but there were half a dozen people who were associated with Wilson. Tatiana, the principal of School 10, was there, and she had gone to Wilson shortly before my daughter went through. I'd been involved with Wilson during that time when my son was there, and there were 3 or 4 parents there who are currently have kids in there, and it sounds like they're having, it sounded like they were having a lot of security problems there at this point. What is the situation as far as the Wilson High School itself?
I can't speak to the high school because of the fact that they are in 2 separate buildings. I'm not directly involved with anything that's going on there. There are some issues at the elementary school, and most of those issues involve around the huge spread of age of children that's in that school. So, for example, about 2 months ago now, there was they pulled all the kindergarten first graders aside and had an assembly just for the kindergartners and first graders because they were being used as runners because they don't go through the same security as the middle schoolers. But they're coming in on the same buses. The middle schoolers were handing them their cell phone to get it through security to pick it up on the other side. The administration there is very good about maintaining a separation between the ages, but there are instances where it's blended student body. There, in anything that's supervised, even when it is blended student body, it's handled well. There aren't particular issues with that. But like I said, it happened, and so they had to deal with it, and they dealt with it effectively. They, both on the older kids basically saying, look, this is not acceptable behavior, but to the younger kids as well, just saying, look, and straight through with strategies for turning it down, ways to basically say no to that without getting into a different situation. And in some ways you don't want to be sending a kindergartner through a metal detector, but at the same time, the district mandates it for the 6th graders. Maybe it's the 7th graders and up. Yeah, but you see what I mean? It's that that flow coming through the same doors gets a little weird.
Yeah, I think I heard that there was, I don't know if it was parents or teachers were trying to get RPD to station a car outside the building during part of the day there, because they recently had that shooting that took place up near there.
Right near there. And I believe from what I've heard yesterday, that between Dave Wertz on behalf of the union and the people at Wilson, I believe the district is going to secure an SRO to be out front, not so much for the school internally, but to provide safety outside the school.
SRO?
School resource officer. Okay. Essentially, there's going to station an RPD car right there.
Are the school resource officers, are they police?
Yep.
I know that they used to be, but they are now.
SSOs, school security officers, that many people, they're internal district security, they are not hired by RPD. Okay. SROs are specifically RPD officers, and that's what you'll see outside of Wilson, hopefully in the near future. Just because when they had that shooting, they evacuated Wilson, and they were walking little babies past crime scene tape. It's just not appropriate. There needs to be a police presence already there so that they can effectively deal with the student population while whatever is happening on the street is happening.